What is up, everybody? Jump in here, and today I'm going to be showing you my ultimate psycho build for Borderlands 2. I call it my ultimate build because it's meant for ultimate Vault Hunter mode, but you can actually use this build in playthrough 1 or 2. Once you get level 20, it is pretty effective, and the gear is actually really easy to get, so keep that in mind. Now, when I actually talk about the gear that you're going to want, and I show the gameplay, I'm going to let my buddy play the Psycho, so you can kind of see this from third person, because it's really crazy from third person. But anyway, alright, let's go ahead and get started with this. We're going to start with Rampage. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Unfortunately, Rampage is great, but for this build, you really don't want to use it all that much. About 90% of the time, you do not want to use this. And anytime you come against Hyperion or robots or armor, yeah, you should probably use Rampage because it really will help you a lot. Unfortunately, the problem with this skill is that it replaces your current weapon with the axe. That's a big time bummer. The reason for this is because of the Ruby. The Ruby pistol that you get from Moxie is so amazing on this build because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the Flame of the Firehawk shield to Nova all the enemies like endlessly. It's absolutely crazy. And if you combine that with the Ruby, you're going to be able to recover all your health non-stop. So this guy is like the ultimate tank because of that. But unfortunately, Rampage, you really don't want to use this all that much. Now let's go ahead and start with Bloodlust. Now there is one problem with Bloodlust that I don't like, is that most of these skills I personally think are not that great. I really like blood-filled guns though. This is actually really amazing because it allows you to increase your magazine size. That is amazing with TDR weapons, especially the Baby Maker. The Baby Maker is an excellent gun for this guy, especially when you're fighting things with armor like Hyperion. So that's the gun I would highly recommend to use. But there is a video on YouTube, you can look it up, of a guy who uses the Psycho and he can one-hit Pyro Pete on Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. It is absolutely ridiculous. The way he did that was he used blood-filled guns with a TDR rocket launcher, maxed out his magazine size, and then he hit him with the blood explosion. And by doing that, he was able to literally one-hit Pyro Pete. It is a pretty crazy video. You should definitely look it up. Like I said, I really like this skill, but the rest of the skills I personally don't think are all that great for this build. Blood Explosion though is amazing, and you definitely want to get this. This will increase your offensive capabilities a ton, and I'll get into that a little later, but let's go ahead and continue. So the next one is going to be Blood Twitch. 1 point. Why not put 1 point into it? The legendary class mod will increase this by 5, so it goes up to 6, and that's the same with Empty the Rage and a little bit into Fuel the Fire. You know, if it's going to increase it anyway, I don't see a point not to just put points in there. Moving down to Taste the Blood. This is good, but once again, it's a problem because you have to be in your Rampage mode to get the benefit. Now, it is good though because it gives you damage reduction, which is really important, and it gives you 30 stacks of Bloodlust every time you get a kill. And that's a kill, not a melee kill, just a kill. So if your Nova Shield kills the enemy, you will get 30 stacks of Bloodlust. Pretty good. Moving down to Bloodbath. Now, I do kind of like this. It's a kill skill. And if you kill an enemy with a grenade, which this guy will use grenades quite a bit, especially the Fire Bee. The Fire Bee is amazing on this guy because of all his fire damage bonuses. But if you get a kill, you increase your weapon damage per stack. So that's actually really, really good. If you have 100 stacks, it's 250% more weapons damage, which is quite insane. Plus, the one thing I also really like about this is the grenade drop chance. This will really help you recover your grenades and your teammates because grenades cost so much money on Ultimate Vault Hunter mode at level 61. It's insane. Next up is going to be Buzz Axe Bombardier. This is actually another one that is quite useful if you're fighting against armor. If you go into Rampage and you throw your axe, it does a good amount of damage. But once you get this, it does a dramatic amount of damage. So it really does help your throwing axe quite a bit. It's exploding damage, so it will not be resisted by armor and all that. It's really good. Moving on to Fuel the Blood. I'm not a big fan of this because you have to kill an enemy with a melee. But it does increase your grenade damage if you do that. Grenades are very important on this guy. That Fire Bee is amazing. The Stormfront is another really great grenade because it does electrical damage. It's going to knock down your shields. It's going to knock down the shields of all the enemies, and then you're going to Nova explode them to death. So it's really good because of that. The Fire Bee, the reason why that's so great is because of Burn Baby Burn. All this fire damage on that grenade makes it do so much extra damage. Moving down to Boiling Blood, this is just good because it increases the time before Bloodlust stacks start to decay. That is actually really nice because of Bloodsplosion. This is the one thing you really want in this tree. It does so much damage. I'm talking about millions upon millions of damage. And with the Nova Shield, you will kill stuff so fast because of this. Alright, moving on to his Mania Tree. I go 1 point into Empty the Rage. This is just nice because it gives you melee damage, it gives you magazine capacity when your shield's gone. You're never going to have a shield with this build. So, there you go. Moving on to Feed the Beast with the legendary class mod, 100% more health. 5-second shield recharge delay. That might seem like it's a negative, but it's actually a positive. Because you want your shield recharge delay to be really high. That's why you're also going to go for Embrace the Pain. Max this out. You get fire rate bonuses and shield recharge delay. So between this and that, it's a 10-second bonus. And with the shield itself, it's like 13-14 seconds, depending on the shield you have. So it's really, really good. Moving down to Thrill of the Kill. I like this a lot. Although the Ruby can recover a lot of your health, sometimes you won't have it equipped. And if you don't have it equipped, then this can recover all your health for you. Any overkill damage you deal to an enemy, you will get 90% of that returned to you in health. So when you're talking about Bloodsplosions that will be doing millions of damage, this is pretty much guaranteed to recover all your health for you. So it's quite good. Moving on to Burn Baby Burn. In my opinion, this is the most important thing that he gets. 70% burn damage, an additional 150% more burn damage if he's on fire, and a 70% chance of setting himself on fire. So you'll constantly be on fire, and you'll constantly get all that burn damage bonus. And when you're talking about the Flame of the Firehawk, it's crazy good. Same with the Fire Bee. Next up is going to be Fuel the Fire. This is just great because if you get a kill, you get a huge elemental effect chance, and you get a big chance to set yourself on fire. The thing I really like about this is that if you're using a slag weapon, if you can get your hands on a slag ruby, it's the best. You don't necessarily have to have it at like level 61 to make it good, but any slag weapon, once you get a kill, one shot, you're guaranteed to slag your enemy. So this is really nice. Moving down to Numbed Nerves. This is great just because you'll constantly be on fire, and when you're on fire, you'll have 50% damage reduction. Very important just because, like, when you have no shield, there is a chance you might be one-hitted by certain enemies, ultimate badasses, grenades, rockets at times. This will help you not have that happen. And then the second you Nova, you'll get all your health back. So, there you go. The final one's going to be Delusional Damage. This is actually really nice because if you're going to use a grenade like the Stormfront, it will electrocute you. And when that happens, you'll not only lose all your shields, so you'll start to Nova, but you'll also set yourself on fire immediately to get this benefit of the 150% more damage. So I really like Delusional Damage. I think it's really good. Now, I said earlier, if you want to use this build at a lower level, like level 20, all you really need is Burn Baby Burn, Feed the Beast, and, of course, Embrace the Pain. If you can get these 3 skills maxed out, you will have a wonderful time because it's really easy to get the Flame of the Firehawk shield. And at level 20, you should be able to get the Ruby. Once you get that, you will have a lot of fun, and it just makes the game awesome. So anyway, now I'm going to bring on Stick Malone, my good friend, and we're going to talk about the different kind of gear that you're going to want to use for this. What's up, man?
Hello, hello.
Alright, let's show these people what they want.
Alright, here you've got your relic. It's a Bone of the Ancients. You can get this really easily just by farming loot midgets in the wildlife preserve. You want this one because of the fire damage. This guy's all about it. So, that's really good. Cooldown rate never hurts.
Yep. Alright.
And here's your grenade. It's the Fire Bee. Burn damage. It's good stuff. It's not the only one you can use on him, though. The Stormfront is another really good one. But Fire Bee is just a little better.
Now, you actually, one thing I will say real quick, you do not actually have to have this. If you don't have it, don't sweat it too much. It's not a big deal. Same with the relic. Same with the class mod. It's just not a big deal if you don't have it. You can still use the build, but it's a lot better if you have these items. Alright, now let's talk about the class mod.
Here you've got your legendary Psycho class mod. You get 5 points and a whole bunch of skills, but especially Burn Baby Burn. You want as many points in that as you possibly can get. So this is excellent. Along with that, you get 31% burn damage, magazine size. Those are both really good, and shield recharge delay. You want as much shield recharge delay as you can possibly get because of your shield. Flame of the Firehawk. Basically, this is going to be doing most of the work for you. You're just going to want to get in real close to the enemies and just go to town with the Flame of the Firehawk and just Nova them to death.
It's amazing. It pretty much never comes back if you play it right, and you can just keep using your Nova and Nova and Nova. But the thing about this that's so good is that it's so easy to get. It comes from a quest. You can get this easily. You don't have to worry about this stuff as much. And the rest of the key items, well, they all come from quests. So let's go ahead and talk about these weapons now.
Alright. This weapon is the Orphan Maker. You want to use this because it damages you, so it keeps your shields from coming back. That's really good.
Pretty much. Now the most important weapon by far.
Yeah. Here's the Ruby. You're going to want to use this whenever you're Novaing enemies, because they'll be shooting you, so you don't have to use the Orphan Maker to keep your shields from recharging. And you'll be gaining a whole bunch of health whenever a Nova goes off, so this is an obvious choice.
Pretty much. Now this thing is the Slag Ruby, which is great because with the one skill, you're able to pretty much slag the enemies every shot. So this will really help you out and your teammates out. If you don't have a Slag Ruby, it's not the worst thing ever, but if you can get one of these, you really want it. The level of the gun isn't all that important because do you ever even kill an enemy with this gun?
No, I almost never do.
Right, so don't worry about that. The effect of Slag works at any level, and the effect of the Ruby works at any level. Alright, so now we're going to show you a couple things you might want to use for robots, because armor, obviously, burn damage doesn't really work that well against armor, so you need to switch it up for any part that you're going to have to fight Hyperion at. Alright, so let's talk about the North Fleet.
Alright, here, you're just going to pull this out whenever you go down. It's really good.
Yeah.
You shoot, you get up. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's amazing. And of course, if you see a big group of robots, just take them all out. One shot of this will kill pretty much everything in its radius. Alright, now the shield. This is really important.
This is the Hide of Terramorphous. You'll want this because you're going to want to use your Rampage against robots. Throw your axes. The roid damage you get from this is crazy. 180,000. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and of course it has the Nova effect, it has the spike damage effect. It's just a really good shield for him. It's probably the second best shield besides the Hawk, the Flame of the Firehawk. Alright, and then finally, my favorite gun in the game.
Yep. This is basically the gun that you're going to want to shoot all of the robots with. The Unkempt Herald just destroys everything, so
yeah,
good.
It really does. I love the Herald. It's my favorite gun. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and show you some gameplay. It's pretty insane, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Alrighty guys, so now we're going to show you some gameplay with this Psycho. I'm going to be helping him out with the Siren, just phase locking enemies. Not really shooting all that often because the point of this is really just to show off how insane this can be with this shield. Basically, once you lose your shield, it's ridiculous. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I just become a walking atomic bomb.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, what's so great about the Psycho, from what I've noticed when he plays it, is that there's just so, for one, he does a lot of damage to enemies. Obviously, anything with armor, he's not going to damage all that much. But of course, you can always switch it up a little bit, like switch up your gear and just kind of like rampage against the enemies and whatever. But what I really love about this is that I can kind of just stay back and you will like distract all the enemies for me, and you are a walking tank. The Psycho is by far the real true tank of the game. If you do this setup and you have that Ruby, you just don't die, do you?
Oh no. Like, you can watch my health bar. You'll see it go down just a little bit, then instantly it goes back up.
I know, it's really insane. I don't know. I think the Psycho is just so amazing. You can set him up in so many different ways, but would you say that this is probably the most fun way to play with him?
Yeah, it's the most effective. It's a bunch of fun just walking right up into an enemy's face and just destroying them instantly.
Right. Now the damage that you're actually doing, like that's popping up on your screen, what is it actually?
When an enemy's slagged, I do like a little over 2 million per Nova.
Oh my god. What about
Crazy.
the blood explosion?
Whenever I can see it, because I'm blowing up all the time, it's 3 million, 4 million.
Now we should probably talk a little bit about how that actually works. So if you kill an enemy with blood explosion, it affects
Yeah.
any enemy in the area, right? In the radius of it.
Yep.
And does it chain off of the enemies as well?
If the blood explosion from a killed enemy kills a different enemy, they will blood explode. And then if that blood explosion kills another enemy, they will blood explode.
Right. And does the damage just keep going up and up and up?
Yeah,
Time?
it just keeps going.
Wow. So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Now, one thing we didn't talk about with gear that we thought of after the fact and we kind of forgot was the baby maker. The baby maker is amazing on him, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The reason for that is because it's a TDR. I already kind of talked about that before, but TDRs are amazing because of blood-filled guns. Like, when you were using the baby maker, and obviously you can always use the baby maker against armor and robots and all that for certain things, but what was the damage off the baby maker you were able to get?
When I had gotten full stacks, just shot one bullet and then threw it, I got 6 million times 2.
God, so 12 million damage. That is insane. Now, that would obviously one-hit most armored enemies in the game, right?
Yeah, there's not many that could stay alive after that.
Right, so TDRs are amazing on the Psycho. Obviously, the Flame of the Firehawk is amazing. You know, and also, you can actually acquire a Flame of the Firehawk that's better than the one he has. I think it goes up to 400,000 damage. Plus,
Yeah.
you get over 200% actual fire damage. Are you throwing your Fire Bee too?
Oh yeah, I threw a fire bee in there, and looks like it worked pretty well.
Yeah, it definitely works well. You know, like, all he has to do is throw that Fire Bee. That Fire Bee just does so much damage. And what's nice about it, too, is it sets you on fire. So, it's guaranteed. Now, how often with this build do you ignite yourself through the effects?
Oh, I'm just basically constantly on fire. I ignite myself faster than I'm able to let the burn damage go away.
Right. Now, that can get you killed, though. It is a dangerous thing at times, right?
That is true. That is really true.
Yeah. Now, the worst thing that can probably happen to you with this build is for you to go down, right?
Oh yeah, because then your shield will come up not quite all the way, which you have to have the shield recharge all the way,
Yeah.
and then lose it again.
Forever. Like, you really do not want your shield to come back, so that's the reason why that shotgun is so important, just to keep your shield down at all times if you feel like it's going to come back. When those enemies are around you, your shield's just not going to come back. It's just, they're going to shoot you. You're a huge distraction. I can sit back if I want with the B shield and just shoot them from a distance and all that. And you got to realize, guys, that I know this looks insane and this looks incredibly easy, which it is, but imagine if I actually was, like, shooting these enemies and really, truly trying to help you, you know, playing the game. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, so yeah, this combination of, like, just using the Psycho as a tank / like, amazing damage Nova shield is unbelievable. Alright, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. Please like and favorite this video, and peace out.